I understand that you're having reservations about your actions, but I need you to understand that your intentions have informed your actions, and you made your intentions very clear to me. So it's done. Excellent. And the film? Bravo. I understand it's painful. That means you're human. Okay, well, we should probably go in now. Oh, hi. I'm Sophia-Helene. I am the second Marquess de Croque-Monsieur, and this is Burning Questions. To all of my friends, fans, and viewers around the world, YouTube's analytics are currently a little jibbered up, so I don't have the top 10 list of countries where the views came from over the past week. So just suffice it to say that I'm wishing you all a very good morning indeed. That was Mrs. Prosecutor. You know, the guy who screwed me over and sent me to jail on charges. And just this evening hence has slipped the prosecutor a very specially designed Mickey into his Shirley Temple, and it should be taking effect very shortly. But before we get to that, I have some questions from you guys, so why don't we just go over here and knock that out, shall we? Ooh, okay. Well, the difference tends to be the likelihood of encountering seasickness, I think. Just real quick, here are some examples of some Navy bubbas. These ships are huge. They're massive. They have large crews, and they don't, like, their missions keep them pretty far away from the actual danger, and so your chances of getting hurt on them tend to be less. Also, because it's so expensive to have them out all the time, their operational tempo tends to be a little bit easier to deal with. And in the Navy, in the fleet, you stand about a 30 to 40% chance of getting sent to one of these. In the Coast Guard fleet, this is as big as the cutters get. It's not very big. They are smaller by far than the smallest Navy warship that they recently got rid of because it's basically useless, with the exception of minesweepers. Minesweepers are smaller. Their missions are more frequent, and they tend to run a higher risk of a hostile encounter. Plus, the operational tempo tends to be a little higher, which means the likelihood of injuries is increased. It's clear from the wording of this question that you want me to say that it's exceptionalism, but it's not. And it's not justified. It's just another example of the very dumb administration being extremely stupid for the entire world to see. Here's the greatest thing about international law. It's voluntary. We didn't sign the Rome Statutes, so we're not bound by them. That said, if the ICC does go ahead and prosecute members of the US government, they can't be arrested and then thrown into Interpol jail. That's not a thing. Until it is, they cross over into Rome Statute jurisdiction, which is pretty much everywhere else on Earth. Okay, so this is going to be kind of nasty, so I'm going to give you 3 seconds if you don't have the stomach for it to skip ahead to the wrap-up. Here's the timestamp. All right, there's another topic in which a lot of ink has already been spilled, and it didn't take me very long to find 9 articles about this exact topic. And I really don't feel like rehashing all of it over again in detail, because as strong a stomach as I have, this really grosses me out and makes me feel uncomfortable. But here are the highlights. Dead naming and misgendering are very common, and it's not always just a simple whoops, my mistake kind of thing. The number of times that it's done for the purpose of open disrespect is not inconsiderable, and it prevents trans people from seeking medical attention on a pretty regular basis. So there's that. Also, there's trans-related research being done that's not directly linked to transition. So if you're a trans person and you get cancer, don't be surprised when your oncologist tells you you have to stop HRT. Not that he'd know. Oh yeah, here's a headline for you. Man tortured by doctors covered under Obamacare. Sweet, that's a win. Hope nothing happens to that. What's that, Montesquieu? Oh, what the f***? You gotta be kidding me. Sorry. So, exams that are actual physical or sexual assault are not unheard of. It's fairly rare, but it does happen alarmingly often. So a couple of years ago, there was a trans activist named Alicia. This happened in Pakistan. And she was shot several times by a gang whose thing was harassing trans people. She survived the initial encounter and made it to the hospital, but died there because of malpractice. They couldn't decide where they were going to put her, and instead of making a command decision, they flip-flopped until she died. Oh, also, they sexually harassed both the victim and her friends when they should have been doing their fucking jobs. So, like, and I hear you, but Sophia, you're gearing up to object. Let me stop you right there because I know what you're going to say. And A, you're wrong. And B, you're deluded if you don't think that sort of thing happens here too. You know what? I don't think there's anywhere that we can go from sexual assault leading to the death of the patient. So let's call this one answered. And links are in the description if you got the stomach for it. So this ought to be really entertaining. The Mickey that I had the prosecutor's wife slip in, it is actually a muscle relaxer, a very targeted muscle relaxer, combined with a powerful truth serum, an aphrodisiac, and a chemical that makes him very susceptible to suggestion. Anyway, I'd like to thank my patrons, Riley Dosh, Lily Patterson, Scarlett DeLeon, Tessa Norris, and Tara Nitka. I would like, if you like the video, please click the like button and subscribe and hit the bell. Share it far and wide. Follow us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, and I do some live stuff there every now and then. And if you want the show to get better and want to see more stuff from us, please consider subscribing to our Patreon. Link will also be in the description for that. Okay, so I may or may not have told all of the press in the area that there's going to be a major development in this case today. So when what happens, they won't be able to just sweep it under the rug and act like it never happened. And there's the suggestion. Yep, makes him quote Freddy got fingered. Which, for the fair use gods, is actually a Dadaist work of narrative fiction. And you can tell because it has no discernible plot and is too absurd to be absurdist, realist, or surrealist. So it really hits all the hallmarks. There, analysis over. And now the truth serum will cause him to reveal the truth about his relationship with, well, I suppose you could call it a mistress, but I think most of us will call it a horse. And finally, the muscle relaxer was targeted at his sphincter, and the aphrodisiac should make that release just pleasurable enough that that he shits himself and climaxes at the same time. And there go the bailiffs. They're going to take him away, do a comprehensive drug test where they will find amyl nitrates and maybe a little smackerel of something else. And he will be disbarred and disgraced forever. My work here is done.